I broke a school-issued computer's headphone jack and got away with it. This was in 2016. I was listening to music on my bunk bed when all of a sudden my sister yanked my earbuds out so she could use them. Now, the problem was that she pulled them out of the headphone jack at an angle. It scratched the side of the port and caused severe audio distortion to any earbuds that used it. At the end of the year, when it was time to give the computers back to the school, we had to confirm that we did not break them in an inspection conducted by the school. They would call the students in waves to inspect the computers in the office. The funny thing was that they asked you questions and didn't even fully inspect them. I admit, I lied, but I couldn't let my parents have to pay for a new headphone jack because of something I did. Well, my sister more specifically. My excellent reputation allowed me to get by with the lie, and it haunts me to this day. I corrupted a file meant for my history project so I could get extra time. This is really stupid. But I didn't finish a project on time and so sent the teacher a corrupted file. She bought it. I got an extra day to make the project. This is nothing at all, but holy hell, it's the first time I've ever done something wrong. I've always been a classic goody two-shoes. My descent into a life of crime begins now, I guess. I steal food from the grocery store where I work that they make us throw away. I work in the deli of a local grocery store and they make us throw away so much food. I barely have any money. I'm trying to survive on food stamps and the tiny amount I'm paid. So I have what I call the meat glove, a plastic glove I keep in my apron, and when I'm alone I fill it with the extra bits of meat that are perfectly fine but they won't let us sell. It's usually the only thing I get to eat on days I work. I feel bad, but also it feels wrong letting it just go in the trash. I lied to my best friend so I could read her messages.
This happened around 8 years ago when Facebook was the dominating social platform. My friend was dating a guy that I had a teensy crush on and I was hella jealous. Being the controlling kid I was, I wanted to know what was going on in their relationship, so I straight up lied to her and told her that Mark Zuckerberg was doing maintenance on accounts with a certain setting, and asked if I could have her password to help turn it off. We were impressionable kids, so she fell for it instantly. Needless to say, I read her messages and 8 years later I'm regretting it.
I stole around 100 pounds to 150 from a kid who didn't know.
Okay, so when I was in year 5, my class during lunch or break or both really would go and do dares. We brought money anyway since there's a corner shop near our school. I saw that this one kid, let's say his name is Steve, he had over 100 pounds in cash, 250s. I'd why he would bring that much, but he obviously had a good dare or something. Well, not really. So the dare was to climb this thick wall in between our school grounds and residential buildings on the roads. I along with 2 other kids grabbed on and climbed up. Mind you, this thing was like 8 feet tall. Yeah, crazy. So we SAT on it 'cause it was that thick. He didn't want to actually give the money. The teacher spotted us right as he said he wasn't going to give the money. Me and Steve both get detention. Well, like stay after school, but like not detention. And he left for the bathroom. I took the 100 out of his bag. He came back. He never came back to school after. Now I still have that money and I still feel the guilt.
I blamed someone else for what I did in 4th grade and got away with it. In 4th grade, there was a rule where you couldn't stand on the metal bars in the stalls. I decided to do the opposite and I had stood on the bars. Now after that I had walked out of the bathroom and it turns out a girl had snitched on me. So I tell the teacher that it was a different girl. The teacher believed me and the girl got in trouble. To this day the teacher still looks at the girl funny. I stole 2 iPod touches in a span of 2 weeks from the same person.
When I was around 12 years old, I was in morning homeroom and talking to my classmate. He told me that he had just gotten the iPod Touch 4th Gen, and he let me play with it as we talked about how cool it was. A couple days passed and we're in gym class and I noticed my classmate slipped the iPod into his backpack and didn't put it in his locker. So I make a quick 90 degrees and head to the bathroom. I hang back a little bit, exercise my born-given right to wash my hands for 20 seconds. And I make my way over to his backpack, slide the zipper open just enough, and secure the artifact. I carry on with my day and don't show any signs of my misdeeds. So in my middle school we had another homeroom right before dismissal for attendance purposes. And my classmate tells me that he lost his iPod, and I pretended to be sympathetic to his loss. but I scoped out the state of this situation by asking him if he had any idea where he last saw it. He had no clue, so in that exact moment I knew I had a new iPod. About a week and a half goes by and my classmate, in homeroom, tells, and shows, me that he got the iPod replaced. And this time he got the white edition of it. I had to have it. I don't know why I felt compelled, maybe it was the sheer audacity of it, or maybe it was the thrill of stealing something I didn't even need. I rinsed and repeated my last method, and he didn't have a single clue. He never got another iPod Touch, but I'm not sure if that's a good or bad thing for either party. But yeah, that's my story of what I did. And I can say that I haven't utilized the 5-finger discount in a very long time. Recovery has been long and tedious, perhaps even strenuous, but I can vouch that there is a way.
When I was around 7, a kid I didn't know before offered me one of his 2 figures. I got the first one and stole the other one.
We were in a summer camp and there was this kid I didn't know before. He was 1 year younger than me and he had 2 really cool small figures who light in the dark, and I told him I really liked them. So he was generous enough and told me I can get one of these 2 he had. I couldn't pick which one I liked more. I got one of them and put it in my bag. Some minutes later I changed opinion and I wanted the other one. I opened his bag, when he was not there of course, and for some reason I thought I could get both without him noticing. So I stole the other one. Several years have passed and I still feel so bad. I have never stole anything else I can remember of in my life, and I promise to never will. I feel so bad when thinking specifically about this because I remember how nice he felt as he gave one of his 2 figures to a stranger, me, and I stole the other one too. I know that you might find this thought a bit childish and that it was just a figure toy, but try to remember how bad it felt as a kid to lose your toy. I still think about it sometimes and wish I had never done it.
When I was a preteen I stole a towel full of quarters from my best friend.
I was really poor. Like, really hungry all the time poor? My friend however had a nice middle-class life. She and I would spend every single weekend in its entirety together for the better part of a decade. I loved her, but I was jealous because she never ate anything and it was by choice. Even when I stayed the night I was going hungry. Anyway, she had one of those giant parking meter piggy banks that was probably 4 foot tall and filled halfway up with change. She asked me to help her count it one day and I eagerly agreed. I have always loved counting change, even now that I'm in my mid-20s and financially stable. So we get to work. Quarters over here, pennies there, all in dollar groups, nice and tidy. She leaves the room for some reason, probably for the bathroom, and like an instinct, I start gathering as many quarter piles as I can without it being blatantly obvious that a bunch are missing. I put them in my towel from swimming the day before and folded it up to look casual. I'm sure it was pretty obvious. Anyway, I'm pretty sure she knew because she looked at the towel at some point and asked me when I was going home shortly after. I feel really terrible about it to this day. I was just so hungry back then, and when my brother and I found quarters we'd always run to the liquor store and buy cheap little Debbie snacks.